All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Furman,
Present.
Councilmember Glenn Miller,
Present.
and Mayor Ortiz.
Present.
And for the record, Councilmember Elaine Holmes is absent, and also Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit.
All right, and do we have any public comments?
None, Mayor.
All right, then we'll go ahead and adjourn to closed session.
Off we go.
right, thank you all for joining us. Welcome to our council meeting. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Urban,
Present.
Councilmember Holmes,
Present.
Councilmember Miller,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit,
Present.
and Mayor Ortiz.
Present, thank you. Before we do the invocation, I think it'd be good to do a short moment of silence for everybody that we've lost out in the Middle East and the Palestine and Israeli wars. If you guys please join me in just a short moment of silence. Thank you. We'll move on to our invocation. We have Pastor Christian Sly from Garden Fellowship Church.
Let's go ahead and pray. Lord, we just ask for just your wisdom over the proceedings today, God, that you would give us insight beyond what we can know, Lord, and wisdom to govern and lead this city well. God, we just ask again for just comfort for all those involved in the war over in the Middle East right now, Lord, as many are hurt on all sides. And we just ask for peace and comfort. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. And if you'll remain standing, we're going to go ahead and move on to our Pledge of Allegiance. And we have a student from Kennedy Elementary, an alumni, Wendy Pinto. And Wendy is a Kennedy Elementary alum and current student at Indio Middle School. Wendy's described by everyone here at Kennedy as someone who always gives her best effort, makes friends easily, and is capital A amazing. Wendy always went out of her way to help others here at Kennedy and was an active member in our school band. Currently at Indio Middle School, Wendy's continuing to do great things, and we look forward to seeing all of the good things she will do in our community. Thank you for joining us, Wendy, and go ahead whenever you're ready.
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you. And Sabri, do we have that? Yeah. And we have a quick gift for you, Wendy. Here you go. And you want to take a quick picture up here?
Con respeto y todos para todos. Gracias.
Thanks again for joining us. Thank you. And next up, we have a city attorney report on closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reportable action at this time.
All right, then we'll move on to our presentations, and I'll come down there. Thank you, Sandy. Oh, I forgot. Wait a minute, can you give me my paper? So the first proclamation we have is for National Disability Employment Month, and we have Richard Balaco from Desert Arc, President and CEO. Thank you for joining us. And let's give him a round of applause, please. Just want to say that we really appreciate all the work that you guys do to give everybody a good opportunity to make a living and be active out in our community. And we'll go ahead and give you the mic to share some information about your organization.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's an honor to get this. Well, Desert Arc has about 700 clients, 280 employees, and a number of our clients work. Some of them work here at the City of Indio, and maybe you didn't know that, but they do. And they work throughout the valley, and it's really nice to be acknowledged, but it's for all the people who work there at Desert Arc. They do a great job helping clients. And this is going to be our 65th year here in the valley. So we'll be having an Italian festival, November 18th over at Southwest Community Church location, 9 to 3 if you get hungry. Good place to go, put on by Mario's Cafe. All proceeds going to Desert Arc. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then I'll go ahead and read off this proclamation here. I always get happy when I see your guys' van driving around. I know that everybody's going to work and being active out there. That's awesome. And so it says, whereas October 2023 marks the 78th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and whereas the purpose of National Disability Employment Awareness Month is to educate about disability employment issues and celebrate the many and varied contributions of America's workers with disabilities. And whereas workplaces welcoming of the talents of all people, including people with disabilities, are a critical part of our efforts to build an inclusive community and strong economy. And whereas activities during this month will reinforce the value and talent people with disabilities add to our workplaces and communities that affirm the City of Indio's commitment to an inclusive community that increases access and equity for all, including individuals with disabilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Oscar Ortiz, Mayor of the City of Indio, along with the Indio City Council, do hereby recognize and commemorate the 78th anniversary of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and call upon employers, schools, and other community organizations to observe October with appropriate programs and activities, and to advance its important message that people with disabilities add value and talent to our workplaces and communities. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to mention Glenn Miller behind us is on our board of directors, and thank you. Does an excellent job with Desert Arc.
You want to get a picture real quick? Okay, and we're going to move to our next item, City Manager reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. We did have good success at our last second Saturday concert this past Saturday, a little over 350 people there. Our next concert, free here downtown on the corner of Smyrna and Miles, will be on November 11th, the second Saturday, at 6 p.m. Food Truck Fridays will continue. We are overseeding the grass where that event is taking place, so we'll just move that here to the City Hall parking lot for 2 or 3 weeks as we get that grass going. And this Saturday will be the start of the farmers market as well. So Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Again, it'll in the long term will be on that turf area, but starting this just this Saturday, be right here at the City Hall parking lot. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. And we'll move on to our Youth Advisory Council, Ms. Frida Arriaga.
Good afternoon, Mayor Ortiz and fellow board members. My name is Frida Arriaga, and I am a senior at Shadow Hills High School. I am honored to be YAC's Mayor Pro Tem this year. And to start off, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here at the dais. This past Friday, the Youth Advisory Council attended the Living Desert Conservation Program. In this program, we got a backstage tour of the Living Desert to see how the team takes care of the animals and how they get fed. We learned about how certain animals are on the brink of extinction and how we can take care of their habitats. And we even got to feed a giraffe while we were there. This Saturday, we will volunteer at the Fine Food Bank distribution at the First Amish Church in Indio. And lastly, YAC has a fundraiser, which is selling tickets for the Firebirds versus Bakersfield Condors game in the Acrisure Arena on December 16th. And if 200 tickets are sold, we will have the opportunity to run a chuck-a-puck, and all the proceeds will go to the Youth Advisory Council.
Oh, nice.
So I give you, everyone here, a flyer with a QR code to scan with a link on it, and you can buy tickets for yourself, your family members, or you could share the link to anyone that's interested. I also put a flyer in at the very front if anybody else wants to scan the QR code and buy tickets for us. And that is all I have to report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And those make a good Christmas present, too. So
yeah, that would be a good time.
Yeah. And we'll move on to report on City Council external internal board meetings. Ms. Elaine Holmes.
Hi, good evening, Mayor. Thank you very much. all of my commissions were dark the last couple of weeks. The one thing I did want to bring up is to remind everyone to attend the meet and greet at the College of the Desert here in the Indio campus, room 101. It's Tuesday, it's the 24th, and Superintendent Hope will be there. And we really want to show the folks and the staff and the faculty and Dr. Hope at the College of the Desert, you know, how pleased and happy we are with this campus, how important it is to the growth and economic development here in the city of Indio. So I would encourage everyone to come. It's about an hour, starts at 5:30 again, Indio campus, room 101. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Furman?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a brief one. I did attend a couple of activities. One, I did attend a second Saturday event we just had this past weekend. It was great. And also I did a ribbon cutting and coral sushi along with some other council members and the community. And so just a brief report this week, but that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All of my committees were dark. I did attend a couple of events, the CVEP Economic Summit forecast that they had. Mixed bag, basically, of coming up with the economics for the whole Coachella Valley. Some very positive things coming forward with the arena and other new developments, but at the same time showed our infrastructure needs and other issues that we have that we're going to need to continue to support to get to the city of Indio and the Coachella Valley as a whole to where we want it to be. So Economic Summit was great. Congratulations to CVEP. And then secondly, I was able to go to the Trinity Baptist Church, which is on Monroe Street, for their 75th anniversary for Pastor David Gordon. Very fortunate, great asset. All our churches are a great asset to our community, and wanted to thank them for inviting me, but also for 75 years of service to our residents. So that's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any committee reports, just to remind everyone that they can still visit Fright Night, Spook Night, something like that, at the Pumpkin Patch at the Riverside County Fair and National Date Festival up until Halloween night. So if you're looking for something safe to do with the kids, either this weekend or on Halloween Eve, please visit the fairgrounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The past 2 days, I had the chance to talk to our congressman as well as some of his staff about the conflict in Israel and Palestine. We shared our concerns for all the people involved, especially the hostages and those still under fire. He assured me that he's working towards a ceasefire and towards providing humanitarian aid, which we saw some progress on today. I also brought conversations on what could be done to, as we protect Israel, also hold Israel accountable for any war crimes committed in Palestine, and now how we should be putting conditions on aid going there, and how we should be aware that their prime minister has consistently advocated for stealing Palestinian land in the past. And I asked them to push safeguards to make sure that Palestinians can return to their homes after the war. I've also written up a petition on these concerns on change.org that includes some historical context, and we have started circulating that petition in the last few hours on my social media pages. Last week, I also had a panel for the California Forward Economic Summit with some members from SCAG, Department of Energy, and Strategic Growth Council. We talked about the resources out there for renewable energy projects and our potential project for community solar that we're working on here with the Department of Energy. I also attended our regional energy network where we discussed our programs for energy efficiency that will provide opportunities for job training and for technical assistance. And that's all I have today. We'll move on to our next item, which is appointments. And we have appointment of Raimundo Trejo to the Imperial Irrigation District.
Yes, Mr. Trejo has been serving as an appointee, and his term is up. He's willing and able to continue to serve, so we do recommend that he be appointed.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miller and a second from Councilmember Furman. Let's go ahead and vote. Councilmember Holmes, would you like to vote?
Yes, aye.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0, and a big thank you to Mr. Trejo. Those are some very late meetings, long late meetings that he'll be attending, so we appreciate his sacrifice for our city.
At least they're not in Imperial anymore.
That's true. All right, we'll move on to our consent calendar. Anybody wish to pull any items there?
I would just like to note my continued dissent on 10-9.
10-9.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar as presented. If anyone else have any other polling items?
All second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Miller and a second from Councilmember Furman. Let's go ahead and vote.
And Mayor, all of these votes will be through roll call, so I will do roll call.
Gotcha.
Councilmember Furman,
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes,
Aye.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit,
Aye with the
And-
dissension on 10-9.
and Mayor Ortiz.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Frida, I know you have somewhere to get to. Would you like to be excused now, or you have some time still?
I still have some time.
All right, sounds good. No worries. All right, and we'll move on to our administrative items, 11.1, amending Chapter 101 and 130 of the Code of Indio to ban the use of safe and sane fireworks. And we have Mr. Stephen Graham.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to ask Assistant City Attorney Jillian Martins to be giving the presentation on 11.1 and 12.1 regarding the proposed ban on fireworks.
Good evening, council members and attendees. So the first item before you is an amendment to chapter, the majority of the amendment is to Chapter 101, which regulates the use of fireworks in the city of Indio, with the exception of the fire code provisions, which are the next item. At your meeting on July 19th, some concern was expressed with regard to the use of fireworks throughout the city during the July 4th holiday, prior to and after as well, as is typical in many cities. Pursuant to that discussion, the staff was directed to draft an ordinance which would disallow the use of safe and sane fireworks in the city, which would require, of course, these amendments. To be clear, the amendment to Section 130 deals with the social host ordinance, because the social host ordinance at the time and presently reflected that the use of safe and sane fireworks was permitted. Should you choose to accept this first amendment to the ordinance disallowing the use of safe and sane fireworks in the city as well, that provision would need to be amended to be consistent with the rest of the regulations. And from that, I will be happy to take questions, but that was the majority of the ordinance amendment, was simply to remove the permission to use safe and sane fireworks. It also cleaned up some of the other language, and part of the discussion, during the July 19th meeting was with regard to the fines that were set for citations associated with the use of illegal or at the time only illegal fireworks, so that that citation amount can be set by a resolution of the City Council. So that can be addressed at a later date once we have determined whether or not you would like to proceed with the disallowing of safe and sane fireworks.
Okay, and then what's the range for the fines that are allowed on that?
So we reviewed this. There was a previous opinion of the state attorney general that set the amount at, was it 5?
It was 1,000.
1,000. However, that was simply a suggestion. Many cities do have a $1,000 fine. However, I'm not 100% sure if we can go above that. That was something that we were thinking of addressing once we determine this.
So the state attorney general did opine to a former city attorney who I actually worked for that up to 1,000 was permissible, but did not opine on whether any higher amount would be allowed. Other agencies that we work for are going for significantly higher fines for these activities because of the significant danger that they pose to the surrounding community. So we've had communities that are looking at $2,500 per instance. I think there have been some that have even gone to $5,000. So one of the things that has been provided in this ordinance update is an allowance for the City Council to set those fines by resolution, which is very common. And would allow you to update those over time as well without having to do a full ordinance change.
Question for our chief of police. Because the fines are so high for our community, right? $1,000 for somebody that might be low income, would that be driving down the amount of tickets that we're giving to our residents? Because I know last year we had very few, right? That we actually gave fines to.
I don't think the amount really matters for enforcement. I think you can talk about how it can.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily was a reason why fewer were issued, but one of the conversations we could have when we're looking at the resolution to set the amount is you could look at a ability to pay determination. So that's something that the state mandated for food vendors and the fines associated with them. So if that was something that the city council wanted to have a discussion about when we brought forward a resolution on fines, we can absolutely insert that language.
Can you say that again? Pay to what?
Ability to pay determination. So essentially, you know,
Sliding scale.
right. So if you had an individual
Gotcha.
who could demonstrate that they were on public assistance or had other factors showing that, you know, the fine would be excessive if applied as to them, a hearing officer could make a determination to reduce the fine.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I may just want to add, and this probably applies more to the currently illegal fireworks, but if a group of friends are getting together and spending $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000 on fireworks, $100 fine is just the cost of having fun. So when and if we do bring a resolution back pursuant to whatever action you take today, it's something to discuss. You know, there's reasons why a fine should be higher and there are reasons why it should be lower, but you would have that judgment and ability to make that determination. And knowing our staff and how we do things, there's discretion of the officer at hand. Many times initially, again, if this is adopted, would be a warning. And, you know, clearly if we have to come back, you know, there are fines. It could be up to $1,000. We're hoping to deter. This is not a revenue collector. We don't want them going off. We don't want to have to show up. We have a very stretched fire and police team as it is. These are the last calls they want to attend to. So whatever fees are in place that discourages the behavior is what we ought to shoot for, in my opinion.
And then one of the other things that some of our other jurisdictions have gone for is fees associated with the confiscation and disposal of fireworks. So oftentimes going to these calls, not only are you issuing a citation for the use of the fireworks themselves, there's also unused fireworks that are then confiscated, and there are costs associated with storing those and disposing of those. I assume the chief doesn't want to put them in the evidence locker, so that's another thing to sort of consider.
And just to be clear, the permission to charge those disposal fees is within the fire code amendments that are going to be discussed next.
But we're not discussing, this is something we're going to bring back on a sliding scale later. I'm just not a big fan of sliding scales. I mean, if you do the crime, it should be consistent with everyone else. It shouldn't be based on your ability to pay. You shouldn't do the crime if you can't pay the fine.
If the council approves introduction and first reading, we can bring back a fine schedule for second reading and adoption.
Okay.
And I think it's perfectly appropriate to have that policy discussion at that time.
Yeah, thank you.
There's some cities that also have a scale. So you have 1 year, right? There's multiple holidays where folks engage in these activities, illegal activities, and sometimes it's the same players, right? I'm pretty sure it's not the folks who are here today. And so you have a city like Carson who has 60,000 people. We have a little bit more, but their first fine is $2,000. And then if your second violation is $3,000 up to $5,000 for your third. So that's just an idea. But you have cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego County who ban fireworks outright. But if you look at the issues they have, they're a lot worse than ours, and they're banned. So I think we could take that into consideration as well. But that's just a scale, an idea of what we could look at as well, if whatever direction we go in.
Other discussions?
Just to reiterate, the biggest challenge that we've had up thus far is actually finding somebody, because it's difficult to determine for the officer, the field officer, who is the person that is setting off the illegal fireworks. So it's not just a question of imposing a fine, it's the challenges we've had as a public safety community to keep our residents safe and to keep our residents' property safe. It's been very difficult to be able to identify where these illegal fireworks are coming off from when they're all going off at the same time.
Jillian, perhaps you could talk about Section 101.04B in the draft ordinance, which is on page 83 of the backup, talk about how property owners are responsible. Then also talk maybe about the additional language on the social host liability. It's on page 84.
Certainly. Sorry, which section?
I can do it. Section 101.04 makes it so that the property owner is responsible, Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
which is one of the additional enforcement mechanisms that a lot of other cities are implementing. The police officers or other enforcement officials, code enforcement, don't have to actually see a person using fireworks. They can have evidence that fireworks were being used at a property, and then they can just cite the property owner. It's much simpler to enforce that way, plus we have property that we can then lien. And then there's also additional language that Jillian put in regarding social host liability as well when it comes to minors using the fireworks. That's on page 84.
Yeah,
but the goal is to make it more enforceable.
Yeah, so again, that's one of the major roadblocks to enforcement. Whether one of the issues, of course, is the determination of whether the fireworks are safe and sane or dangerous fireworks. It's one of the issues, which is one of the reasons that I believe this ordinance is being considered. But additionally, the determination of who in a party of 10, 15, 20, 100 people is responsible. This ordinance does clarify the social host liability and would allow for the citation of the property owner who is allowing the fireworks to go off on their property. And so we discussed this in 101.04 and 101.07, as well as I mentioned earlier, it touches 183A, which is the social host obligations associated with fireworks. And so that's if a property or a gathering where there are minors, typically social host is used for underage drinking or use of drugs, but this also includes the use of illegal fireworks, which of course is also a potentially dangerous activity. And those social host liabilities allow for a simpler process for finding and fining people for these activities.
How's the social host applied when it's a cul-de-sac of families?
Well, so that wouldn't be on, social host liability is related to private property.
Right. So if it's in a cul-de-sac, then what do you do?
So, well, that would be on public property, and it would be difficult.
It would be private property, it'd be HOA.
Well,
you'd have to know which home it is,
So
right?
I can maybe
right.
answer
Okay.
that one.
Sorry.
We find the HOA.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
I'm not looking to start a war, Mayor Pro Tem, but a lot of HOAs do have security, and they are out there warning their individuals that they're not to set off fireworks on private roads. And I found that they can actually be very effective at putting an end to that.
Yeah, faster than us.
Yeah, my apologies. When you said cul-de-sac, I thought you just meant a street that ends in
Gotcha.
so not a private road.
Right.
Thank you.
Do we have any information on the costs that come with enforcement? I know there was a lot of overtime hours.
Yes, that was asked and provided that the PD had depended over the last few years, but say an average of 150 hours of overtime would estimate something roughly the same for fire. That's something they were researching. Fire researched the property loss costs over the last handful of years, and it was 1.3 million, something like that, specific to fireworks. So there are significant costs, and enforcement, it's like anything where it takes time to educate. Again, should you adopt this? And there's a gradual process where it just becomes well-known after a few years, and those enforcement costs will drop eventually, based on my own experience in another city. But at first, we'll have to continue to enforce, and those overtime costs will be needed, particularly when we're trying to send the message that, no, we're serious here. And while I stole the floor, I think it's important to note that almost all cities up and down the state and in other states of the nation are doing exactly what you're considering this evening. My understanding is in Riverside County, all cities have banned all fireworks except Blythe, Coachella, Desert Hot Springs, and currently Indio. So there's a reason why entities all across the country, and particularly in the state of California and specific to Riverside County, have said, I think we're finally had enough. The costs relative to law enforcement, loss of property, the safety issues related to both safe and sane and illegal fireworks, the impacts on veterans, on pets, certain individuals that have a sensitivity to sound and so forth. It's just becoming passé, as much as it's been a historical tradition in the United States. It's just the time has come to address it one way or the other.
We do have some public comments. Go ahead.
I had a question. I know that we occur overtime for our staff or our police and fire during these holidays. Will those costs still be there if we were to ban Safe and Sane Fireworks?
Yes, in the near term, certainly, to enforce what you put forward. Yeah.
Ms. Holmes, do you have a question or comment?
I don't have any questions, but just a lot of comments going through my head. I mean, this has come up in years past, and I think we've been somewhat concerned about passing this because there are a lot of nonprofits that rely on the efforts of Safe and Sane. And I think at the end of the day, the need and the purpose here is to be able to protect our community, protect our residents, protect our kids, protect our community and our property. I think there are alternatives. I've spoken with our city manager on different things that we can do for the 4th of July that can help some of the local nonprofits. We also have our grant program. But I think this is the future. I think it's the future for the city of Indio in order to maintain that quality of life and particularly the safety of our residents. So that's just a comment there.
Thank you.
I wasn't going to comment until everybody talked, but see, I'm the opposite way because I see this as something we're punishing the people who actually go and buy the fireworks and do it the sane and safe way because other people are doing it illegally. And it's not any different than our short-term rentals. We had a lot of bad apples, and what we did was we changed the fines, we changed the system to make sure that they came into line with the rest of our community. And I understand it affects veterans and other people. It's going to affect a lot of different things. So does the shotguns in the middle of the night on New Year's Eve.
That's illegal.
That is illegal. This isn't. But illegal fireworks are. Yeah. And people aren't complaining about the safe and sane. They're complaining about the illegal fireworks. So that's where I stand on this thing, because you're punishing the people that are buying fireworks legally because other people are bringing in illegal fireworks. That's how I look at it, and I think it's an asset. You know, the city of Indio's talked about having their own firework display, and that I just think it's an asset to our community at the time, and that's how I look at it. I think you're punishing the people that are doing it the right way because other people are doing it wrong.
I somewhat agree with that, and I think the
To go to the public hearing before you take a position.
No, it says the public. This is administrative.
Oh, there is no.
There's a public hearing after.
Yeah, this one is weird. It's
Administrative item and then the public hearing after.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to say that I've been listening. I did talk to some of the people from the community, and you know, the concern from our police chief, and I think the reason the ban makes sense is because of it makes it easier for the enforcement, right? But I think the reason it doesn't make sense is Glenn Miller's comments, where we're kind of punishing the people that are following the rules, and I think the middle ground for me would be using some of the new verbiage, right, with being able to cite people because of the property. That would make it a bit easier for enforcement, and also having our community members help us in education, right? So at the point of sale for fireworks, having flyers that describe what are the fines. I think if you go out into the community right now and you ask somebody, what are the fines for illegal fireworks? Nobody knows. That information isn't really there. Does anybody know what the fines are?
Well, those people aren't going to buy fireworks at the legal place, though.
I know, but it's still a way to get the word out.
But to the people that are doing it right?
If they know, then their friends will know, right? It's one way to do it. I think it works. All right, we'll get to public comments soon. But that's just one of the strategies that I think we could try for next year and see how it goes and see if we're able to bring that education to the community and go from there. But that's kind of where I'm currently at. I still want to hear from our community members and see where they're at. Go ahead.
You know, I think we have opportunity to test out some of those strategies with education and getting the word out, however we do it. I know during 4th of July of this year, there were a couple citations given out, and how I know is it spread across social media real quick. And so you give a couple people some fines out there, the bad actors, they talk to each other. So the word get out there. But I just wanted to add that because I support, I'm not going to say support, but, you know, I'm looking at fines and those kind of things. But I like to hear from the community as well. So,
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I did want to note that item 12.1 is functionally on the same topic, which is the prohibition of all fireworks. And to the Mayor Pro Tem's point, if you wanted to combine those items and open the public hearing when you start taking testimony, you could vote on both 11.1 and 12.1 at the same time. So I think we're having the same conversation twice.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that sounds good. Let's do those together.
okay.
So is there another presentation? On
No,
top?
it's changes to the fire code.
Okay,
Same
so
thing.
then we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing
for both items.
for both items.
Although this is administrative, so we're just going to roll over to
Yeah.
Okay.
And first, we have Mr. John Kelly.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council staff, and public safety officials. My name is John Kelly. I'm Vice President with TNT Fireworks, the wholesale provider to Indio nonprofit organizations since you opened in 1995. With me this evening is Mike Casserly. He's worked with you 17 years, our area manager, and one of our new associates, Public Relations Coordinator Cassidy Salguero. I watched the July 19th discussion about fireworks and offer the following for tonight's discussion. Safe and sane fireworks are defined and regulated by the California State Fire Marshal. Simply, safe and sane fireworks products do not explode or fly in the air. The storage, packaging, labeling, shipping are all regulated by state and federal authority and can be sold only, again, this is under state law, June 28th through July 6th, once a year. Illegal fireworks consist of mortars, salutes, and recently an influx of Class B, which is the stuff you see at Disneyland, into the common marketplace. Indio has two sources of this product, Pahrump, Nevada, and Winter Haven, California. Pahrump has 6 retail stores operating all year, selling to any customer who walks in the door willing to sign a waiver. There are no limits on quantities. Once back to Indio, product is stored in residential homes, public storage units, or trailers. They are advertised on social media and word of mouth, distributed from garages and trunks of cars. The danger of these practices were brought to light 3 years ago in downtown Los Angeles, where an arson bomb truck was destroyed, and in Riverside, where a home blew up. Both communities do not now or have ever allowed the sale of safe and sane fireworks. In 2008, Senate Bill 839 established an administrative fine program enabling cities to issue citations up to $50,000 and recover revenue for that effort. Chino was the first city to jump in. They wrote over 100 citations in the first year. Lawndale wrote 110 last year. Assembly Bill 1403, signed 2 weeks ago, is a huge step forward in the training, enforcement, disposal, and funding of the combat against illegal fireworks in California. Locally, all the stands and offer English and Spanish flyers that speak to the proper use of our product and identification and consequence of illegal fireworks use, both in printed and online. We house a full library of professional public service announcements and videos that are consistent with our printed message. Other items, Nalem, a smartphone app that anonymously reports illegal activity in neighborhoods. Administrative fines already in place here in Indio. Social host you're currently discussing this evening. A response recovery ordinance discussed a little earlier helps to minimize exposure to potential costs associated with the disposal. I'm out of time. I'm sorry. If I could have 10 more seconds. Los Alamitos in Orange County voted by council action last year to allow the sale of safe and sane fireworks for 2023 and reported a 56% decrease in the related calls for fireworks that year. Don't punish Indio nonprofit groups and their citizens who responsibly enjoy state-approved fireworks each year and help out many worthwhile charities. Together, let's try to educate the public and step up the fight against illegal fireworks. I am available tonight and any other time to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Next up, we have Daniel Alvarado. Thanks for joining us.
Never been here, first time being here, so excuse me if I don't speak the language, but hello to everyone. My name is Daniel Alvarado. I'm the youth director for our local church here, Apostolic Church of Indio. This fundraiser helps us every single year because this is how we gain the funds to have events for our young people, provide food for different things, just to bring our young people and get them in a better path. A lot of our young people come from broken homes, so money is not something that they may have. A lot of them are underage as well, so they're currently going to school. So this fundraiser for us means a lot. It's what really kicks us and keeps us going all year long. The problem here is illegal fireworks, not safe fireworks. Honestly, if you look at every single city, I have friends all through the cities, they have them everywhere. If someone tries to say they don't see them, they must be blind. They're everywhere, right? So it's not an Indio problem. It's a problem that we have to, like you guys have been saying, educate the people, probably raise fines. I don't know. You guys are the ones in charge with all of this. But banning these fireworks, it's not the solution, honestly. You're just going to hurt, I agree with Councilman Glenn, you're just going to hurt the nonprofits that are trying to help this community continue and progress and just uplift people and help people. We were on the corner of Jackson and 44th, and I support the police, Chief Mike, great job. But we saw 5 vehicles or a whole bunch of officers responding to one single call of a man who had fallen down, possibly a fight, while in front of us we had an entire show of fireworks everywhere. So is it easy to find? Yes. On my way home after we closed down, I found 3 different spots where they were putting and setting off illegal fireworks. Nothing against the police. You guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you. But I think that if there's more that we can do to try to find them, because I was just driving home. I wasn't trying to find them, and I found 3. And the last thing I want to say is I come from Hispanic background, and I know that the 4th of July was something that we would always look forward to. The moment that they would start selling them and we could go, and my dad would try to save some money because we didn't have a lot and buy a couple fireworks. I remember for my siblings, for myself, that's what we were looking for all year round. So families are waiting for this time. Kids are waiting for this time. They love these things. Safe and sound fireworks is not the problem. Illegal fireworks is the problem. Please don't take away that from the families in the committee, in the community. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarado. Mr. Gerber Guzman.
Good afternoon, and first of all, thank you, Mayor and council members and all the public here. I do represent a Christian Fellowship Church here in the city of Indio, and today's public meeting, if we were to continue with this ban, not only will you be hurting citizens of the city of Indio, but you'll be hurting low-income citizens. Our fundraisers help us to establish summer programs during the summer to help low-income for the children around our community. With the funds that we're able to raise, we're able to do toy drives at the end of the year. With the funds that we raise, we're able to do backpack drives at the beginning of June. So it not only impacts not the immediate families, but all around the families, whether they're low income or whatever the need they may have. I also agree that with this ban, you're hurting the citizens. They're actually following the law. I see these fireworks up in the air, and the people come to our stand and they look forward every single year. They look forward and coming to us and say, "Hey, thank you for being here." And I see families looking forward to gather with their loved ones. As a matter of fact, I also see people out of town coming into Indio, coming and say, you know what, I came to Indio because you allow fireworks. Where I live, they don't allow it. So I have testimonies of family members coming out of town, specifically in India, to celebrate 4th of July, and they take advantage to have a good time with their families during the fireworks season. So it brings families together. It's a tradition that we've had for many years. So I believe in my heart that you're hurting the people who are following the law. I do believe people who are not following that should be fined. I agree with that. And I believe there's resources. I believe there's a lot of heads here that we can come together to put a law together to find those who are not following the law. I also heard there is no actual data that supports by banning these fireworks will decrease the cost of the community or the city of Indio. I didn't hear that. 4th of July or any other holidays, you're still going to need police officers. You're still going to need all the security around the city that's required during these holidays, that we have more people coming into the city. So there is no data that supports banning these fireworks are going to decrease the cost of the city. So you're punishing, once again, you're punishing people for following the law. And then you're punishing those programs that help, the children, the youth around our valley. You're punishing the toy drives. You're punishing summer programs that we have. You're punishing the backpack drives that we have around the community. So I want you to just please consider this, Mayor and council members, that award those who are following the law of the city of Indio.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Sarah Romero.
Good evening, Mayor Ortiz and Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit, council members, and everyone in attendance. My name is Sarah Romero, and I'm an Indio resident, but I also am part of the Catholic Daughters of the Americas. We have a local court here, and we actually this summer were able to man one of the fireworks booths in Indio. So our firework booth was located in the Stater Brothers parking lot at Miles and 111. And our total profit this summer, our net profit this summer was $21,114.78. That's not income that we will be able to replace with any fundraisers that we do. Our motto is unity and charity, and in that spirit, what we do is, especially those years that we have a fireworks booth during the summer, we give the majority of what we raise to other organizations, other nonprofits here in Indio, including Refuge Pregnancy Center, OLPH Youth Group, OLPH School and Church, CV Rescue Mission, Martha's Kitchen, Autism Society of the Desert, and Pegasus Therapeutic Writing. And everything, all of it's volunteer work at our fireworks booth. We don't have any paid security. Everyone gives their time and their sweat during this 1 week to be able to raise this money so that we can then give it back to the community and organizations who provide priceless services to the people of Indio. As I mentioned, during the July 19th meeting, it was mentioned that the organizations that benefit from the fireworks booths could replace that income through grants. And I just want to make you aware that some of us, if not all of us, wouldn't be eligible for those grants. And so that's not an option for us. So a ban will not impact illegal fireworks usage, and it won't eliminate the need for first responders, for those personnel to go out during the holidays, but it will negatively impact the resources to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. Next, we have Kim Hardy.
Good evening, City Council members, Mayor, City Manager. It's been a while since I've been here. And I guess I'm the only one. I'm here for the animals. Now, I know fireworks kills animals every year. I run a 501c3 myself. It's an animal organization, and I get hundreds of calls every year. Most of them do happen the week of 4th of July. I personally have dogs, and I do know for a fact one of my dogs, I think the fireworks, contributed to his death because he was so nervous, and I don't care how much I sedate them or whatever. it's not enough. You never know. If people could do 4th of July, on 4th of July between certain hours, I would agree to that. So we are prepared for the animals and the veterans. Now, I was watching, that horrible thing in Israel. And I was watching those people talking and how scared they were. And then I saw bombs go off in the background. And I just saw how they shook and how that scared. And I never realized what PST was until then. My brother's a Vietnam vet. These fireworks, I know that the nonprofits do make good money from that, but there's other ways to make money. I do know the fireworks, I believe you only get to do the fireworks stand once every 5 years. You don't get to do it every year. But I don't know, last year some lady texted me and said my dog just got hit by a car, ran out because of the fireworks. They don't know what fireworks are, and they run out of fear. So they don't know where they're going, and they don't see anything. The horses, at the polo grounds freak out. Everything, I know there's a better way to celebrate 4th of July. They have the new drone show, which is fantastic. They have things like that. Or if you can produce fireworks that don't make sound. I mean, that's just, it breaks my heart. I was here, and illegal, I live on Bliss, so there's a lot of illegal fireworks. And I was thinking, the last time they were going off, I said, I've been here 27 years, and I feel like a prisoner in my own house. I'm afraid I can't leave on 4th of July. If my property doesn't catch on fire, one of my dogs may be killed. It's not just about the humans, it's about everybody here in the community. And I feel for the nonprofits. I know I belong to a nonprofit who had a fireworks booth last year, and I refused to work it because of the animals. But I think we got to take the community as a whole. And, I wish, and maybe I will next time, I start sharing what phone calls I get from people who lose their dogs, their cats, their horses even. My brother, who's a Vietnam vet, I can actually, he freaks out over fireworks. So if it's a planned, set time, people can prepare for it. But right now, it's bad. I remember once I did call the police on the fire department, for fireworks. And, I told them who was firing them off. And they did find them. They did go over there. And they have never shot off another fireworks since then. And they used to shoot them off, and they would, 3 palm trees caught on fire. It's a big thing. When fireworks go off, safe or sound, it's still a danger. And I do believe as we progress in life and as our community progresses with the times, that fireworks should be a thing of the past. It's not about money, it's about life and the quality of life, especially for the people who fight for our country. I don't think people realize that, what it does to them. And if you had, if there's a certain time, you could do fireworks, and that's not going to happen, and we all know that. But if you do fireworks just on 4th of July, at least people can prepare for it. But that's about it. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Hardy. Next up, we have Renee. I think it's Odinarath.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hi, my name is Renee Udanarith, and let me get to the top of this. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 4 extremely active kids. I am a caregiver to my disabled father-in-law. I have a daughter attending college on a low-income scholarship. I'm telling you all of this so you better know your citizenry. With all of my free time, I volunteer for organizations that better Indio's youth. I currently am the treasurer for Shadow Hills Knights Athletic Booster Club that services 800 plus student athletes. I'm the co-founder and co-chair of the Flex Group, a basketball organization that services 313 youth. I help with administrative needs for the ZT baseball organization that has 187 players. My children have played in IYSA and Desert Diablos. All of these Indio-based organizations service mixed income families and are in desperate needs of funds. I am in a constant cycle of fundraising, grant writing, and soliciting local businesses for sponsorships and donations. I can say hands down that the fireworks booth is the most successful and lucrative fundraiser I have ever been a part of. When your names, organizations' names, gets chosen in the lottery, it is quite literally winning the lottery. It's like winning the Powerball for these organizations. It's a great opportunity and drastically changes these organizations' affordability and accessibility for Indio youth. The fireworks booth fundraiser has provided much-needed uniforms, equipment, and travel opportunities to compete outside of the Coachella Valley. I am opposed to a ban on Safe and Sane Fireworks. I do not believe this will solve the problem of illegal fireworks. We are at less than a 2-hour drive from Mexicali and a 3-hour drive to Prim, Nevada border, where sale of illegal fireworks takes place. The sale of illegal fireworks from citizen to citizen will ramp up in this area. These illegal sales are tax-free. There'll be no tax dollars collected. And next July, there will still be complaints about illegal fireworks. The only difference will be that several nonprofit organizations will have lost an opportunity to fundraise. Thank you.
Thank you. And last one we have is Sofia Negrete.
Hi, this was super last minute. I made it here just right after work.
No worries.
My name is Sofia. I am the booster president for the Indio High School football team. This is my second year there. And this fundraiser brings in pretty much all the money that we use, you know, outside of people donating our dinners and stuff like that. But I have about 100 boys right now. You know, last year I had about 110. And some of these kids just don't have it. You know, they can't afford the $300 spirit pack. They can't afford to travel. They can't afford cleats. So that $10,000, $15,000 that we do make in that fundraiser at the fireworks helps. If you guys take it away, some of these kids won't be able to play. And it's not because they don't have, you know, the sportsmanship or the talent. They just can't afford it. You know, the schools already don't get enough funding for it. You know, I don't see City Hall giving us 10 grand, you know, per school, per high school, per team, per athlete, per anything. You know, these kids bust their butt at school with their homework and, you know, they're training 2 hours after school and then they got to go home and, you know, I represent my child. You know, I have a sophomore in high school and he is an honor student. He plays 3 different sports throughout the year. And that's why I joined to help, because I'm a single mom and I can, you know, put all my statistics out there. But I get up every morning. I'm a paralegal during the day and I fundraise and I volunteer and I do all that in the evening time. You know, not just for him, but for his little brother as well. You know, so when I got the call and I heard that this was happening, it hurt. You know, I cannot fundraise $15,000 for 100 kids without this. So I really, 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 really pray that you guys help out some way, somehow to keep it. You know, whether we do teach how to be responsible with it and, you know, citing or whatever you guys come up with, but just don't take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do you have any comments?
I have questions.
Question?
City Manager, a comment was made that certain nonprofits don't qualify for the money that we give away 4 times a year. Can you explain to me what scenario that would be?
It's a great question. I'll have to,
To my knowledge, there is no.
I believe they need to be Indio-based or there's a
Right,
priority. So
right.
if
Which
they're,
all of the nonprofits in the lottery have to be Indio-based as well.
yeah.
So there is no nonprofit that doesn't qualify for the grant application, which is not, it's not a narrative. You fill out your name, your benefit to the community. It's a simple little thing, and you can apply 4 times a year.
I believe that's correct, as long as you're an Indio-based or serve
Indio-based
Indio residents.
organization, right.
Yes.
Is it churches as well?
Yeah, any nonprofit.
we do have some.
Any nonprofit. Now, is it also true that the lottery can only be taken benefit of every 5 years, or I thought it was more often?
It's a random lottery, so there are 9, is that correct?
Yeah,
So
but
9
is
or
it that if you did it in the last, I know, but if you did it 1 year, can you do it 5 years in a row?
if you're really lucky.
No, I'm asking.
You can apply.
Yeah, I know you could apply.
Yeah.
Can you get it awarded?
Can you get it awarded sequentially, annually?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not every 5 years. So, most of the conversations that I heard here and that I received in emails have to do with the lack of opportunities for the nonprofits to have funding for their charities and for the charities that they support. Well, we do give away money. And I think more charities need to take advantage of that. And it's not a long grant application. It's just a simple application. You fill it out 4 times a year, and if you can prove that you benefit the Indio community in any way, you will be considered for the funds. And if there's not enough funds, well, we always up the budget. And to date, no one has ever taken advantage of that whole fund that we currently have. The old fund was small, so they did. So I really want to concentrate on that because there seems to be a misunderstanding that we're not here to support the community. So that I want to just totally discredit right out of the gate. But I am really concerned, just like one of the speakers spoke tonight. It doesn't matter what kind of firework it is. So we're not punishing the law followers because we're actually punishing our own citizens. This PTSD in this community is serious. Mental health is serious. We have homelessness people that are just out in the streets suffering. And then add on top of that our loved pets that look to us to be protected. I think they need to be included in this community that is saying they need to be protected because they're following the law. So again, nonprofits, there's money at City of Indio. If you're not getting it, it's on you, it's not on us. The community includes PTSD, veterans, and my loved cats and dogs that suffer every year, not for a day, for a month. A whole month because of fireworks going off around my community. So I wanted to just make sure that those points were very clear because I think that the arguments that are being made today are not well informed, and I wanted to make sure everybody had the same information. Whatever way this ordinance goes tonight, please know you don't have to rely on an outside organization to help you fundraise because the City of Indio is here to support its community. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Miller? Good?
I said what I had to say. I just still believe that you're punishing the ones that follow the rules. That you're going to continue to have illegal fireworks no matter what we do. And if our public safety is going to cite them, they're going to cite them. I think we need to raise the fine, something we can talk about later, and look at it down the road. And if it doesn't work, then it's something we can look at. I just don't agree. Thank you.
Right. Ms. Holmes, anything?
My comments stand. I think it's important for us to take a stand for our residents and for the safety of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Furman?
I believe what everyone is saying is correct. I think we're all on the same page here. We all want to protect our community. We all want to celebrate the holiday, and we all want to have avenues for revenue for our nonprofits. I second some of what Councilmember Amit mentioned. We do have grants for our city, and we do hope that our nonprofits take advantage of that because we understand that you are all tasked with doing a great service to the residents of our city, whether it's senior citizens, whether it's athletes, whether it's faith-based communities. So we do appreciate that, and we hope you do take advantage of that. But I want to apologize to our community that we've come to this point that we have to have this conversation. And I want to appeal to the folks who are engaging in these illegal activities. And I want that to cease and desist because it's affecting the quality of life of many, including our animals, including our veterans, including destruction of property, also budgets within the city, which comes from taxpayer dollars. And now it's come to the point where it's affecting nonprofits' ability to generate funding for the services they provide in our community. But I also want to reiterate some points. The illegal fireworks, they do go in the sky. They pop. They scare many animals. They set fires. Those are not safe and sane fireworks. I do not want to impose fines as a means to generate revenue for the city. That's not what we want to do. I want to impose more fines as a deterrent because I believe it works. So I would suggest that we raise fines and we utilize our city portals to give residents the ability to report the bad actors out there, and also bring in an educational component, which I know it's out there, which we do have, but it's not the folks here who need the education. It's the folks who are engaging in these illegal activities. And there's enough social media out there. Our media team in the city does a great job. Our police department does a great job. Our fire department does a great job with our social media and outreach. We need to get the word out there to the bad actors that if you do engage in not only this activity, but any illegal activities, you will be caught and you will be fined. And there was some comments made about our overtime in our policing and fire. This is a little bit off topic, but the same folks who are here tonight and the same folks who support not banning, when we talk about our budgets for our police and fire and our first responders, we have to take this into consideration as well. This is part of our budget. So we do have to pay these folks when they're out there working, and they do a great job. And I just hope that as a council, we could find that happy medium, that we could take care of our nonprofits as well as improve the quality of life in our city.
Yeah, and just to go off of that, you know, when you talk about the happy medium, I think that's what I'm thinking as well. Going with the new ordinance that would help us in finding the property owner, so that makes it easier for our police department. But then keeping the Safe and Sane Fireworks going, at least for this year, and trying that education campaign and seeing if we can make a big impact out there. I think we can. But I think it's also important for our nonprofits to realize this isn't going to be the same council next year, right? And so this council changes every 2 years, and so it's not smart to depend on one fundraiser, right? We need to start diversifying those fundraisers and finding new sources, because honestly, we never know. Next year it could change, in 2 years it could change. So I think we should take one step, take it slow, and make that first change that allow us to cite the property owners. Give our community organizers here a chance to help us in the education campaign, and then go from there. City Attorney, is there a way that we can separate those two?
I have a question first, though. Chief of Police, are you down there?
He's over here.
Oh, can you take third-party testimony to find somebody? That sounds pretty illegal.
No, misdemeanor peasant's rule requires us to see
You
it.
have to witness it. I know that. So you guys, I don't know how you expect this to stop.
Well, I mean, it's just like if there's a party, if there's a DJ playing music and the police pull up and they stop playing the music, how do they
No,
determine
but
that?
what you're talking about is the citizens reporting illegal fireworks.
They're reporting illegal fireworks, but if it's at a house and it's at that house, regardless if you've seen them or not, they have the stuff there. They're gonna blow it up. It's gonna be in the front of the house. We could tell.
You can't go on property without
Well,
justifiable cause.
Mayor,
yeah,
can I
you
address
probable cause.
the pending questions?
Go ahead.
First off, to the Mayor Pro Tem's question, for misdemeanor criminal prosecutions, the chief is absolutely right. We would not take a third party's word that this occurred. But when we're talking about administrative citations, we the fines that we're talking about, we absolutely can rely on third party
So
testimony.
if I hate my neighbor,
Well,
That's felony.
no, I hate my neighbor, I'm just gonna call and say.
So
There's
there's
fireworks.
there's due process that is involved. Hearings can occur. You're allowed to have cross examination. It comes up, but generally speaking, that would not prohibit it. But to the mayor's question, I think if that is the direction of the council, which is leave safe and sane for this cycle, beef up enforcement, I'd like the opportunity to bring it back. I wouldn't want to try to redline it here. We had a very specific objective with the ordinance as it's written right now. I think based on the feedback from the council, we could come back with as many enforcement mechanisms for, everyone's calling them illegal fireworks, call them dangerous fireworks. We could go in that direction if that's where the council wanted to go.
Thank you.
And we could bring back the fine discussion at the same time, because I think you'd probably want to have
Yeah.
that
Sounds good.
conversation then too.
I was going to say the same thing, that they can certainly be separated. I would want the opportunity, though, to redo the ordinance for first reading at the next meeting.
Got it.
But
Thank
yeah,
you.
but yeah, the opportunity to continue to utilize the social host as a mechanism for enforcement, and those provisions could certainly stay if you decided to continue allowing safe and sane fireworks. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So, if I could, Mr. Mayor, so Stephen, are you saying that instead of voting on this, Stephen?
Yes.
Are you saying instead of voting on this today, that you'd like us to table it and then bring it back with the wording that you'd like?
I'm saying that if it's the council's direction that you want to continue to allow safe and sane, but you want beefed up enforcement for the dangerous fireworks, I'd like the direction to be bring it back for first reading. Because we have a public hearing on the fire code, I guess it would be to continue that item, keep the public hearing open and continue to the next meeting.
Well, I think you're going to have to ask each one of us, because I want it on the record. And I believe that we need to do better outreach next time to make sure all of the PTSD, the veterans, the homeless people are here, because it's skewed tonight.
All right. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion if there's a motion.
No, not a motion.
Or,
He's just going to.
all right, we'll just continue it.
There has to be 3 of you.
So if you did want to have a motion to give direction, it would simply be keep the public hearing open to the next city council meeting and to revise the ordinance to enhance enforcement and to continue to allow safe and sane. You could give that direction if you wanted to.
But isn't there's the ordinance, wouldn't he take a motion on this, and if there's no a majority, then would we move forward with the next one?
I think they're combined.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Councilmember.
saying, so wouldn't he ask for a motion on this, and if there's not enough votes, then that would say, okay, we're gonna proceed with safe and sane, but continue with stiffer penalties.
No, someone who would have to make that motion.
Right, you have to have a motion pending and a vote. If there's no action taken, then the ordinance stays as they are right now.
So if you want safe and sane, you have to.
So what I'm saying is, would he ask for a motion on the ordinance now, though?
No,
I mean, to ban it?
No, it could be an alternative.
You can make.
Oh, you could just make
you
an
can
alternative motion?
motion.
Okay, I
It
see.
could be alternative.
Okay. All right,
And just to be clear, if no action is taken, safe and sane are currently permitted in the city.
And the fines
The only
stay the
question is, would you want us to come back with further enhancements to the enforcement on the dangerous fireworks side? Plus, there are other things we could look at, such as revenue enhancements to fund further enforcement
The
efforts
education campaign?
and education campaigns.
All right, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
I'll
I'll go ahead for you guys.
Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and make that motion to keep the safe and sane fireworks, but then bring back the ordinance on the stricter rules on enforcement.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second from
No, it has to be.
Mr. Furman.
Got a roll call vote.
Yeah, do a roll call.
Roll call vote, please.
And this is for both ordinances.
It is, and it's to also keep the public hearing open.
Councilmember Furman,
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes,
Nay.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramos Amit,
Nay.
and Mayor Ortiz.
Yes. Motion passes 3-2. Thank you. Sorry, yeah, that motion passes, not the ban. Then we'll move on to our next item, public comments for items not on the agenda. Do we have any public comments, Ms. Sanchez?
I do not. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to speak, this is the time.
All
There's
right.
none, Mayor.
Then we'll go ahead and adjourn to our next meeting on November 1st. Thank you.